Hey everyone, Rich from Rich CCG Bets here. Hope y'all are having a great day. Is this the new norm for the market? What we're seeing with booster box prices for the previous sets and for Hyperia City, is that just what we need to learn to expect to come to? I don't know if I have the answer to that question, but I do want to go over where Hyperia City is right now, how it's comparing to previous sets, and discuss those prices on TCG Player. And at the end of it, give my thoughts on kind of like where I see the market going, my overall thoughts on these prices in the markets, and we'll head from there. But if you like this kind of market watch stuff, data, and Lorcana, make sure to subscribe. But let's go ahead and dive right into the numbers. So here on TCG Player, for those of you that are new to Lorcana or just TCGs in general, you see this pink icon right here. That's for pre-sale. Basically, the set is not out yet, and so only approved, and it's very small, select shops can actually post onto TCG Player right now and make sales. That's why we see these prices are pretty high. You'll notice as we go through the previous or the next sets, the previous sets, that this is a lot higher, and that doesn't necessarily is not because the set is better. We honestly don't know many cards in the set, not to say it's not going to be better or is going to be better, but we usually see this with pre-sale, them selling at higher prices than what we're going to actually see on release day. So the three things I want to look at in this video right now are going to be booster box cases, individual booster box prices, and then sleeved packs down here at the bottom left. So we don't have any price or any detail right now for Hyperia City, but for a case right now, we have it going for $895 is the market price right now, and the lowest listed is pretty close to that. And then market price is $240 for one single box, which is pretty crazy, and we have lowest listed to kind of follow suit with that. It's crazy to think that just a year ago, you could buy booster box cases for $400 and a booster box for $100. Maybe if you were lucky at below 100, and if you were quote unquote unlucky, maybe for $110, $120, or your shop was evil and selling it at MSRP. Times have definitely changed, and you can see with the previous sets as well too. So taking a look at set 13, Attack of the Vine, we are seeing a market price for the booster box cases going for $837, lowest listed not much below that. A booster box itself, ignore that $75. No one's selling it for that unless shipping is $200 or $150 or whatever. But market price is going for $204, and we're consistently seeing sales at that price around $200 on TCG Player, eBay, Facebook Market, etc. If you want to get an individual pack, you're going to have to pay $10. Pretty crazy that a set that just came out a little over a month ago is going for $10 a pack. Wilds Unknown, the set before that, the set that kind of brought in this new hype, maybe you can call it bull market, whatever you want to, of Lorcana, is still sitting pretty high. So cases are going for 858 market. If we take a look at the lowest listed, that's crazy that lowest listed is 949, because I checked this like probably a few days ago, and I swear I saw sales. Yeah, you can see recent sales here, like 850, 860, 865. I was gonna say, I was seeing them in like the higher 800s, but now the lowest listed is 949, which is crazy. A booster box itself is going for $220 about on average market price. And we've seen it basically sit there the whole time this set has been out, all 3+ months. You were able to get it. It shot up to $200 on pre-sale, dropped to $120, and then very quickly ran its way back to $200. And I think at one point it was going for like $250, $260. So it is dropped and steadied at $220. Again, an individual pack, sleeve pack, is going for about $10 as well too. So the last two sets are going for $10. Take a look at Winter Spell, same situation, $10 a pack for a sleeve pack. We are seeing booster boxes go for $230, so this is the highest so far, and it makes sense because it is the older of the three sets. But again, for going for almost over $100 MSRP, and this set came out at the beginning of the year, is pretty wild. Market price for this is $865, but lowest listed is going to be $1,000, and this set is continuing to run. People are loving the princesses in this set. There's some of the best enchanteds. I believe it has the second highest average enchanted price outside of Fabled. So the enchanteds, people are loving them, and they're shooting up as well too. And pretty crazy to see what is happening with this market. Winter spell, the quote unquote worst, I would say, of the iconic sets. Similar thing. Look, market price finally below $200, but you're at $199.51. So a nice 49 cents below $200. Cases are going for 750-ish about on average, and market price is just under $10 a pack, but lowest listed is $10 a pack. So we're seeing this similar trend. Like for these iconic sets, there's so much value to pull that it's increasing the booster box prices. That and it being short printed and a lot of people coming into Lorcana means that supply is way below what demand actually is for these booster boxes and these cards and enchanted singles, etc. The next step before that is Fabled. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because this is the anomaly. Market price $3,084 for a case. Lowest listed is getting close to $4,000 again, so we're seeing that shoot up quite a bit, which is funny because the booster boxes individually are below market price. That times 8 is about $3,200, and so there is for sure a case premium, which is always going to be the case for sealed products in TCG. If you want to get just one singular pack in a sleeve, you're going to have to pay $31 is market price. Let's see what this is like. Okay, that's what I figured. $10 shipping. I was like, wow, is someone really trying to offload a bunch? And no, they have one that they're trying to sell with $10 shipping. And if you want to get a bunch there, you got to pay $35, which is so crazy. And I've highlighted these iconic sets. It's not just the iconic sets. So we have Rain of Jafar. The individual booster boxes are like very affordable, still below MSRP, but you can see that the lowest listed, and there are only two, is $700 for a case. And so we've dropped from about $800 on average outside of Fabled to $700 on the sets before the iconics. And these sets are out of print, more than likely never to get reprinted again, which is why these are going for $700. You're going to see these prices starting to increase. Arcasius Island, lowest listed, $700. Similarly, again, pack prices are a lot lower, $7 a pack. You're going to see them. They still show up at Walmart, Target, Best Buy. And so as long as that continues to happen, you're not going to see those individual sleeves increase in value. But we do see that people love the cases. Lowest listed is $700. Lowest listed here is $120. 120 times 4 is $480. So you're paying a premium of $220 to get a case. And then Shimmering Skies, we're seeing it basically back up to that $800 mark. And that's because people do love the iconic or the enchanteds in this. Specifically, the Mufasa Enchanted is doing really well. Market price is $134. I want to see what the actual lowest listed is. It's about that $135, $136 with shipping is what we're seeing for a booster box. And like I said here, for a case, $800 is the lowest listed, and we only have 4 people willing to sell. Basically 3 at $800, and someone just, I mean, I'm not mad at them, but someone just shooting to get $1,000, hoping that these 3 sell and that theirs is the only one left, and someone wants to buy it for $1,000 and make some bank there. So you can see that basically all of the last 8 sets outside of Azurite Sea, you notice I skipped that over. No one really likes that set. The prices are still very low, so I didn't want to include it in this. But 8 of like the last 9 sets are going for that $200 mark or pretty close to it. And we're seeing booster boxes, cases consistently at $700 plus, specifically $800 plus for the iconic sets. So is this the new normal? Unfortunately, like I think so. Like if you're gonna want to buy these booster boxes, whether you want to invest, collect one of each booster boxes, open one yourself, outside of getting lucky at an LGS, I think you're gonna have to pay these prices. Again, I mentioned a little bit ago, there's just so much value in these booster boxes with the enchanteds being popular IPs and really amazing arts. but also a lot to pull with the epics and the iconics. There's just so much value in there that if there's a $1,000 or $2,000 card, pack prices aren't going to be $5. They're going to be a lot more expensive because people are going to be ripping until they can get one of those. And as more and more people rip, supply diminishes, but demand is still there, or maybe even growing at this point, which is why these prices, they make sense. Again, I don't like it until Lorcana comes out and explicitly says like, hey, we are reprinting sets X through Y, and we're going to reprint booster boxes and troves and stuff like that. We're not going to see these prices really drop, which is pretty crazy because Lorcana wasn't anywhere like this a year ago. Like I'm not shocked because Disney is a huge IP, it's a huge brand. There are so many people that love Disney that are now starting to get eyes on Lorcana. Like everything makes sense, but I'm shocked that it happened this fast. And again, I'm shocked that there isn't any sort of announcement from Ravensburger that they're going to be reprinting more. The only thing they've ever told us is that they will not be reprinting first chapter booster boxes. But we also know there's so much going to happen in the future with the collector booster boxes, with Into the Ink Dark, I want to say is what it's called. I honestly kind of keep forgetting what it's called. But we're going to see collector booster boxes. And so it seems like they're going to be spending a lot more of their allocation at the printing area on those booster boxes and collector booster boxes and just other products that they have for sale. That it doesn't seem like they're going to have a ton of time to go back and reprint a lot of these older sets. I can almost guarantee sets 5 through 8 that just got rotated out a month or two ago are like donezo. Like I can't see a world where Shimmering Skies gets a reprint, or Azurite Sea, or Rain of Jafar, or Arceus Island. Like that just does not make sense to me. Fabled, I don't think we'll get a reprint because it's already a reprint set, essentially, outside of like the Enchanted and Iconic cards. But Winterspell, Whispers in the Well, Wilds Unknown, Attack of the Vine, I can definitely see those getting reprinted in the future. But at the same time, like it doesn't seem like a reprint is going to be able to reset the market a ton, that they might drop to MSRP, which is still above every other set to come out before that, outside of the first chapter. And maybe Rain of Jafar, or not Rain of Jafar, Rise of the Floodborn, but I think that one's just slightly above MSRP. But that's my thoughts on the market. Like I think it's good? I think it's good in the sense where if you're investing in this, like you've made a lot of money. If you were one of the earlier people and bought a lot of these sets, I mentioned in a previous video, I bought Fabled case for $400. Yay me. I'm not selling it anytime soon, but the fact that lowest listed is pretty close to $4,000, that's pretty exciting, But if you're a collector, if you're a player, if you are wanting to just rip open some Disney Lorcana, like it's not a good place right now. But again, I don't know what Lorcana can do to lower these prices outside of just printing more. They continue to make amazing art, and so like I said, demand is just going to continue to outweigh supply unless they change something. But sorry about that, my storage was full, but I think that's a sign that I should just probably wrap things up. Basically, at the end of the day, gone are the days of being able to buy a case for $400 or just in general below MSRP. I think if you want to continue to invest into Lorcana, like do what you can to get a case. I just think with these prices, at least for me, it doesn't make sense to buy more than that. Maybe even just like a booster box. Like that's what I did with Attack of the Vine. I bought one booster box and that's all I wanted to put into it. And I got it at MSRP too. I didn't even pay $200, but that's kind of all I wanted to do. And maybe it's time for you to focus on like previous sets that are rotated out. If you believe in Into the Inklands or Ursula's Return, those are still pretty low. And like I showed, Azurite Sea and Rain of Jafar are still pretty low at the individual booster box level. Amazing sets. I think Arceus Island is kind of what has kicked off the amazing artwork. And like I will always say and preach, the first chapter is a great buy. I don't think it's going to be $1,000 by the end of the year. I don't think it's going to be $1,000 next year. But if you're a long-term investor, 10 years from now, it could be a $5,000 booster box. Who knows? And that's what I'm holding on and I have hope for. So that's all I got for you. Hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.